Well, my relationship with Irvin is multifaceted. One, as a friend, two, as a church member and fraternity member, and just being a personal guide of resource.
Him being my dad and just watching everything that he's done uh, in Chattanooga for the past, well, I'm 46, for the past few decades, I would say, 3 or 4 decades. The impact he's had as a teacher, uh, hospital administrator, I would also say a mentor to many people that he's mentored over his lifetime. I would also include uh, him trying to become the city's mayor while I was in college in Atlanta, and all the votes that he got. He didn't win, but he did place second. I would also add him now being a pastor, um, just at his church, Greater Tucker Baptist Church. When you add all of that together over his lifetime, he's now lived 8 decades. All right, he's in his 80s. You can't really calculate the amount of impact he has had across just the things that I've listed in terms of what he's done in the Chattanooga community. You can multiply that by a factor X in terms of the people he's taught, the people he's mentored, the people he has coached. He was also a high school football coach. The people he helped over at Erlanger Hospital, the people that listened to his sermons um, as one of the associate pastors at Greater Tucker Baptist Church. You can't really quantify the impact this man has had in this community.
Oh, that's an interesting story. Irvin was crazy about my sister Joyce. All through high school, I think he had a crush, and he might not necessarily say that's true, but we all knew. Even my mom and daddy knew it. But he was just very easy to know, and he's been a part of the family quite a while now.
Well, I knew of him prior to my official meeting him, as it were. That would have been back in 1984, and that's when I became an initiate of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated as a pledge. And he was very much involved in that.
His impact um, as a husband, first, as a father, second, to me and my older brother. It's that impact in my mind is, I hate to say it, more impactful in my opinion than the impact to the community. Obviously, I'm biased, but let's just talk about all the stuff I mentioned, the jobs, the roles that he had. Um, he never missed any of my games. Okay, I played a lot of sports, did a lot of events. He was always there, whether it's a home game, whether it's away. He might have been on the cell phone, right? He might have had a beeper going off, if you remember. Well, you might not remember the beepers, okay? The man was always busy, right? Always busy. But you know what? As a father, to me and my older brother, he was always there.
Well, Irvin has always been spiritual. He has always had an interest in our community, meaning African American. Not that he didn't have an interest in the Caucasian community, but he was always interested in embracing and enhancing the socioeconomic status of African Americans, and trying to squash some of the disparity that we sometimes go through. Um, he always wanted to impress others with his knowledge of everything that he knew about, and wanted to stress the importance as well of education, just as Commissioner did. Something that he continues to do today. Go to school, get your degree, or go to school if you choose not to get the degree. Just make sure that you do the best that you can wherever you are.
In my opinion, I would say he's impacted our community in a lot of areas. You know, as a teacher, as an advocate for our underserved in the community, as a leader in the healthcare industry, as a leader in our church, and also has served in many capacities in each of those areas, and not to forget his leadership role with our fraternity.
Let's be clear, when I was born, right, he had already made an impact in this community. So there's some things that, let's just say, I'm not even aware of, right? I had come along, I was born at a time where he'd already done a lot. So I've only seen a part of his full impact, right?
Well, when I graduated from Tennessee State, Irvin was helpful in helping me find a position. And he set up one or two interviews for me that unfortunately did not work out. But at the time, I was kind of glad that it didn't, because that wasn't the best time for one African American to be in a Caucasian situation, because there weren't many of us in office situations, which is what my degree called for, you know, to be in an office situation. But he has always been very supportive. He's been a very good confidant on various things that I needed to speak with him about. So he's just an important part of my life. He's family. All of us love him.
There's not enough time or video for me to explain how much of an impact he's had on me personally. But in short, he has been an advisor, he's been a teacher, he's been a supporter, he has been a servant leader, and has been the true definition of a friend.
I would say externally, in terms of community impact, the biggest thing that jumps out at me, well, it's two things. The first thing would be him being honored at so many different events of Gala's life, the one you all are about to do now. The fact that multiple organizations, community groups recognize him for what he is, for what he means to the city. That would be part one. Part two, in terms of impact to the community, I would say when he made the choice to run for mayor, I remember his slogan. I remember watching his commercial. It was something along the lines of, I will be a mayor for all of Chattanooga, right? There aren't too many people that would want to take on a mayor job of any city, right? That's a big deal. You have to get votes. You have to impact everyone in the community. And the fact that he felt like he could do that, all right? There's many people that say, well, if I was the mayor, I would do this. But there aren't many people that try to walk the talk and become a mayor, all right? So the fact that he attempted to do that, to take his presence to a bigger stage for the city of Chattanooga, I would say that's, off the top of my head, the biggest example that I can think of, because it's something where it would have potentially impacted the entire city.
A story that really exemplifies a lot of the characteristics of him is just seeing how passionate he is about our community, about the people in our community, where he, although for many years he's served in the capacity of leadership in various ways, but he would take the time to address a concern or an issue with anyone. A specific story, I would say, would be as he served as the president of our alumni chapter of the fraternity. He met with a colleague of one of the other fraternities, their president, and start looking at a common goal that we needed to address in our community, and that was the health disparities as it relates to African American men.
I would have to say his faithfulness, his commitment to others. He's another one that's patient. He's giving. He's kind. And he's always willing to help. You can ask anyone in his church family, anyone in our personal family, or anyone in his fraternity who loves him greatly. And they will all tell you how faithful and committed he is to everything that they're trying to do.
The only other thing I will add is I want to thank his family for allowing him to be a huge asset to our community. It takes the support of the family, giving of time where he could be at home. You allowed him to be shared with our entire community and really abroad, because people outside of the Chattanooga community know what Irvin brings to the table, have experienced a lot of his expertise and his collaboration and his skill sets. And Chattanooga is the better for it, and those that he's collaborated with across the state and the country have also benefited from it. So I want to thank the family, and you should be just as proud of him as all of us are. And again, I thank you for sharing him.
I'd also like to mention the impact that he had on the health care of our community. He rose through the ranks with Erlanger, because I can recall being part of a summer program where he was the director, if I'm not mistaken, with reference to his title, at Alton Park Health Center. He was very instrumental in getting the Dodson Avenue Health Center set up, so he's made a huge impact in the community with reference to that, and by virtue of the positions that he held at Erlanger, the top positions, I think I'm certain that he was the first African American that had a chief role in the hospital, and he just rose through the ranks, and he's just a blessing. We're just so happy that he's part of our family. Joyce made an excellent choice, but they make a wonderful couple, and he's just a big part of the family, always offering himself to do whatever he could.
Pops, I do want to give you congratulations on this award in terms of what it means, in terms of the impact to the community that you have had, in terms of what this award means. I also, just as importantly, maybe more importantly, just want to give you a big thanks from me and my older brother to you in terms of the impact you've had as our father, the impact that you've had as a loving husband as well, for over almost, if not over 60 years. No, at 60 years. I know this opportunity is to recognize you for your external accomplishments, but let's be clear, the internal accomplishments with the family, with the Overton family, and I would say the Kilgore family, means just as much. All right. So I'm recognizing you for two things: the external accomplishments and your internal accomplishments. You have to keep in mind both. So thank you for everything you've done for the city. Thank you for everything you've done for our family.
Well, I want to thank him for giving of himself. Irvin, I want to thank you for what you have poured into all those in our community who are still here in Chattanooga, those who have gone abroad and pursued their various careers. You've been able to be a teacher to them. You've been able to be a confidant. You've been able to provide the leadership that most are in need of. You have given of yourself to be an advocate for the underserved, the marginalized community, and trying to allow their voices to be heard, that in our community that we can truly realize an equitable community where everyone has the opportunity to have all the resources that they stand in need of and be able to live the lives that they truly would like to. And for that, personally, thank you for what you've poured into me, being there as my support when I needed it, being that that angel that sits on the shoulder of you to keep me in line, and also provide me that advice that, okay, you're doing a little too much, you need to kind of slow down, and that I know that's coming from your heart and the experiences that you have engaged in yourselves, and that's kind of being protective. And want to thank you just for giving to this community. We wouldn't be where we are today had you not been a part of it and been able to pour into our community yourself and what you would hope us to grow up to be.